Lahore session of the Congress 1929. In December 1929, the Indian National Congress met in Lahore under the youthful and dynamic leadership of Jawaharlal Nehru. So, in December 1929, Indian National Congress they met in Lahore under the leadership of Jawaharlal Nehru. The Congress passed a resolution declaring Purna Swaraj or complete independence. So, as its goals. So, in the Lahore session, the Congress passed a resolution that now we want Purna Swaraj or a complete independence from the British rule. 26 January 1930 was declared as Independence Day. So, they declared 26 January 1930 as their Independence Day. The Congress also resolved to launch a civil disobedience movement under the leadership of Gandhiji. So the Congress leader they decided that we will now launch a civil disobedience movement under the leadership of Gandhiji. On 26 January 1930, Independence Day was celebrated all over the country. So on 26 January 1930, Independence Day was celebrated all over the country. The newly adopted Indian tricolor was unfurled and people solemnly took the pledge of freedom. So finally they made a Indian tricolor flag and they took a pledge of freedom that now we are independent. 26 January was celebrated as Independence Day every year till India finally became free in 1947. From 1950 onwards, 26 January has been celebrated as Republic Day. So till the year 1947, 26 January was celebrated as Independence Day. But once we were got independence from the British rule in the year 1947 on 15 August, after the 1950, the 26 January was celebrated as Republic Day in our India. Next is Civil Disobedience Movement 1930 to 34. The Civil Disobedience Movement was a form of non-cooperation involving the breaking of government law. So what do you mean by a civil disobedience movement was that now we will break the laws which was made by the British government. Its objective was to defy the British government and pressurize it to give in to the demands of the nationalists. So in the civil disobedience movement, the nationalists will pressurize the British government to accept their demands. The civil disobedience movement was launched by Gandhiji in March 1930 with the Salt Satyagraha. Gandhiji decided to start the breaking of the unjust salt law because it affected everybody in the country. Every Indian had to pay the salt tax. Indian could not manufacture salt because it was government monopoly. So what actually happened in the Salt Satyagraha was that people, that is Indian people, were not allowed to manufacture the salt themselves. They have to purchase from the British government, and in order to purchase from the British government, they even have to pay extra tax for the salt. So Gandhiji took the opportunity to break the salt law, and finally he officially declared that now we are launching the civil disobedience movement against the British rule. The Salt Satyagraha began with the historic Dandi March. Gandhiji set out from Sabarmati Ashram with 78 followers on a 385-kilometer journey to the coastal village of Dandi. Thousands of people joined him on the way. So in order to break the salt law, he started this Salt Satyagraha with Dandi March. He marched from Sabarmati Ashram with 78 followers on a 385-kilometer journey to the coastal village of Dandi, and thousands of people joined him on the way in the Dandi March. Upon his arrival in Dandi, he picked up a handful of salt from the beach. This act symbolized defiance of the salt law. So how he broke the salt law? On reaching the Dandi, he picked up a handful of salt from the beach. So finally he broke the salt law which was implemented by the British rule. It was a signal for every Indian to violate the salt law. Throughout India, people began to manufacture salt and sell it openly. So in order to break the salt law, the Indian people began to manufacture salt and sell it openly in all over the India. As you can see in this picture, a statue depicting Gandhiji and his follower during the Dandi March in 1930. The march was in protest against the unfair salt tax imposed by the British on Indians. The movement spread rapidly. Civil disobedience extended to violation of others' law and refusal to pay taxes. So after the abolition of the salt tax, the people's next target was that now we will not pay any taxes to the British government. It include boycott of foreign goods, hartal, demonstration, picketing of the shops, that means looting of the shops, selling foreign goods. And important features of this movement was the active participation of a large number of women. So the civil disobedience movement is the movement in which for the first time women had participated in India in order to fight against the British rule. Sarojini Naidu was one of the leader of this movement. So one of the famous leader from the women section of our community was the Sarojini Naidu. The government suppressed the movement with force and brutality. Gandhiji, Nehru and all other important leaders were arrested. So in order to stop the civil disobedience movement, the British government used the force and brutality, and they arrested Gandhiji, Nehru and all other important leaders. Hundreds of people were injured or killed in lathi charge and police firing. Over 90,000 people were imprisoned. So over 90,000 people were imprisoned. Many people were injured and many people were killed in the lathi charge and police firing by the British government. Did you know in the Northwest Frontier province, the civil disobedience movement was led by the Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, popularly known as Frontier Gandhi. So in the Northwest Frontier province, that means in the Gujarat Punjab section, the civil disobedience movement was led by the Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, and he is popularly known as Frontier Gandhi. He established an organization called Khudmat Ghars, or popularly known as Red Shirts. So he also established an organization known as Red Shirts. The political activity in India became very intense after the 1937. So the political activity or the movements in India became very intense after the 1937. Leaders of the national movement had made it clear to the British that their days in India were numbered. So finally the Indian leaders, they said that that the British rule very soon will be stopped, and they have very small number of days to rule in India. The British passed a number of acts and sent missions to appease the Indian, but in vain. So in order to stop these revolt, the British tried their level best to pass different types of acts so that the British so that the Indian can be or you can say the Indian movement can be suppressed. But whatever the measures were done by the British rule, it was all vain, and now Indians want a complete independence or a Purna Swaraj. So with this we end the chapter.